be starting here momentarily. Let me go ahead and get everyone checked in. So I see that we have Angela Sansaloni. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, great. And you are the applicant on the project?
Yes, for 2212 South Street.
That's right. Okay, welcome. And then we also have Kate Meehan from our zoning department here at the city. Welcome, Kate.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Ms. Sansaloni, are you expecting anyone else to join us here today on the applicant owner side?
No, the owner is actually out of the country and he was going to try to Zoom in, but the time change was just problematic.
Sure, no problem. Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the October 18th, 2023 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. Again, I'll be the zoning hearing examiner for this hearing today. The case before us today is case number ZH20230147. That's 2212 South Street. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing unless there have been written submissions submitted prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent first present the applicant's case. If there weren't even here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I'll hear from the zoning department after the applicant has presented its case. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to the application, consider that they may respond or rebut that testimony offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements.
David, sorry to interrupt, but you're a little jumbled. I don't know if you're having the same problem, Kate.
Yes. Yeah, you're kind of breaking up, David, when you're speaking.
Yeah, let me try. Is that any better?
Yes.
That's better.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that was it sounding like sort of like metallic, like mechanically.
Yeah.
I think I was hearing that on my end too. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Was that how it sounded the entire time?
No, just a little bit at the end.
Okay. Just to briefly recap, I'll allow our applicant here today to tell me about the project, any background they think is important, of course, why they think the relief requested should be granted. I'll hear from Kate Meehan at the zoning department. I'll have some questions along the way. I'll allow Ms. Sansaloni you to respond to any of the questions or any of the comments from Ms. Meehan and make any closing remarks, and then we'll close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, as we just experienced, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly as best I can, but to the extent there's some defect with the Zoom that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. Anyone that intends on providing testimony here today, the zoning code requires that that I swear you in prior to that testimony. So I'd like to do that now. If you could each raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Swear. Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right. Ms. Sansaloni, are we ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, so this is an historic building, a 4-story building is the neighborhood actually East Price Hill? Did someone establish that?
I'm seeing Lower Price Hill.
At Lower Price Hill.
Okay, and as we all know that Lower Price Hill has been slowly coming back with development, and this is a beautiful building, kind of uniquely situated in a very industrial part of Lower Price Hill. So they want the opportunity to create return the 3 upper floors to residential units, and then created a eating spot for the neighborhood and to bring people into the neighborhood on the 1st floor. They will have some outdoor dining, probably as a future phase, but it is shown on the plans currently. And as you probably saw from the photographs, a lot of industry around, not many food vendors. And that's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is there's plenty of parking because the people that are working there are working on their industrial lots and the parking is open. And then we're hopeful that this will sort of be an impetus to start bringing people back into the neighborhood, maybe, you know, not just working and then leaving, but bringing people back into the neighborhood. So to try to tear down a building, buy additional property, it just is problematic for the budget. And so we're asking for the relief so that we can do on-street parking and not off-street parking.
Could you talk more about what the on-street parking is like, what the capabilities are for on-street parking around the area?
Yeah, so we took a photograph, I think it was on a Wednesday, every hour through the workday to look at what the available parking was. And on both sides of the street, there's actually on-street parking without meters for most of the street, on State Street, and then also on South Street. There are a few meters down the street, but there were a random 1 or 2 cars throughout that 8-hour period. And then at the close of the day, even those few cars are gone. So there is available parking both sides of the street and the intersecting street.
Gotcha. Okay. And I'm sorry if I missed this in your initial comments, but the surrounding development, some of these warehouses, you said those are operational and do have people working during the day.
But they typically have lots on their property. So the Gantry's grass is right across the street and they park on that. There's an auto body shop. People park right on into that parking lot. And so most of and then there are warehouses down South Street that they have their own parking. And then there is some residential a little bit down State Street, but not in the immediate intersection of that property.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to tell me about the project before I hear from the zoning department?
No, the owners of this building, well, it's actually the Port Authority. And so the leasee who's developing is McAndrews Glass, who is already vested in the neighborhood because they have their shop there. So this is a way for them to even invest more in the neighborhood. And Brendan was very sorry that he couldn't be here today. So, and they have success in other projects. This is not their first restaurant and development. So they have a proven history of having successful projects.
All right, great. Ms. Meehan, anything you'd like to add?
I would just add that, I found it very helpful that the applicant did the parking study to show what the parking situation was like around there, especially like throughout the day. Certainly this area is very industrial. I mean, immediately across the street, there's a small commercial district. And there are some houses farther down the street. I'm not sure if those are occupied or not. And then there is residential back behind it, but this immediate area is primarily commercial and industrial. So we essentially agree that we don't think that there would be, a huge demand for parking. And especially, given this industrial commercial environment, people are around during the day. Parking seems to be pretty available during the day. We would anticipate people are more coming to this establishment, in the evening and on weekends, when most of the workers in this area are probably gone. So, we felt like there would be adequate parking. And I would agree with Angela about, if they did have to create a new parking lot, it would probably require, the tear down of a building or two in this area. This is a dense urban area. The building is from 1904, so certainly it was there well before, the zoning code was established or before there would have been any kind of parking or cars even around at that time, for that matter. So I think we do agree that, it seems like it would be a shame to try to, have to demolish buildings or something like that to create parking, when it does seem that there's adequate parking in this area, certainly during the day, and we would think even more so at night and on weekends.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Ms. Meehan, for your testimony and for your staff report. I don't have any more questions. Ms. Sansaloni, would you like to say anything in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
No, I just appreciate the staff. Kate has been wonderful, and so has Cassandra, as far as helping me through this process. And they've been nothing but cooperative and trying to help me understand, the appropriate uses. So that, I have to say, was very, very helpful. And it's a beautiful building, so it would be a great asset to the neighborhood to get some life into this building, and then hope it sparks other development in this area.
Yeah, I agree. It would be great to see it be rehabbed.
Yes.
And of course, historically, it was a mixed use building. So, this puts it back to what its historic use was. So definitely a benefit.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I also agree with each of you.
Okay.
And so
This is probably my easiest zoning hearing in 30 years.
Oh, really? That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Because I've got one after this that is probably not going to be. So this is a good surprise for me too. But no, I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report, and based on the testimony I've heard here today, I am going to approve the application. I need to formalize that in a actual written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. We're just starting to have cases drop down a little bit from the summer rush, and so hopefully I get that out to you sooner. But as soon as I finish those decisions, I put them into PDF and I email them to both you and to Ms. Meehan. And so you'll have the completed decision really just moments after it's complete. As soon as you have that, Kate can approve the zoning, and hopefully you can move forward at that point.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you both very much.
Sure. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out. And if you'd like a status update on the decision, you can reach out to me directly too, and I'm happy to provide that for you.
All right.
Okay. Good luck with the project. Have a good day, everyone.
Okay, great. Thank you.